Hey, tell me, do you? Do you? Huh. Apparently the results might surprise you. This is my friend Winston. He's a big, fluffy, and loving Labradoodle. But is he loving? That's a word we often use to describe dogs. But do they actually love us? Or is it just wishful thinking? Woo! Now, before I answer that, let's start by understanding the human definition of love. Okay, Winnie? You can love someone physically, which is driven by testosterone in men and estrogen in women. You can love them with a romantic drive, which comes from serotonin, adrenaline, and dopamine. Or you can love someone in the sense of a long-term attachment, and that comes from oxytocin. Obviously, we don't want to talk about the first two in context of loving dogs. That's a little bit weird, but the third one, the long-term attachment one, is the one that we hope the dogs feel for us the same way that we feel for them. So the real question here is, do dogs have the capacity to release oxytocin? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Who's a good oxytocin releasing dog? You are. You are. Yes. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you love me. The real question is whether or not you have the brain capacity to do so. And if you do, to what degree? Okay, we'll figure that out. All right, I'll set you down. Well, let's jump back to humans for just a second. Believe it or not, you haven't always been able to feel love, but as you grow and mature, you're able to process more and more complex emotions. A baby, for example, can't feel guilty for pooping itself in the new pants its mom just bought it. But you can. Let me just hang that up real quick. At first, a baby can only feel positive and negative excitement. If you shake a baby, don't shake babies, if you shake it, it's a negative excitement. If you give it a binky, and it likes binkies, it's positive. Soon after, in the next couple of months, babies can feel fear, anger, and disgust. Blech! But we're talking about love here, and true affection doesn't surface until 9 to 10 months of age. So the real question we should be asking here is, at what age do dogs emotionally develop to compared to humans? 2.5 years. You love me, Winston. I love you too. What else can you feel? More than you might think. Picture a 2.5-year-old person. These are all the emotions they can feel. That's a lot for my boy Winnie right here. But what he can't feel might shock you more than what he can. Ooh! Despite that complex array of emotions, he can't feel, and I know you're not gonna believe me when I say this, so just let me explain first. But my boy Winston here cannot feel guilt. I know exactly what you're thinking. How is that possible when I've seen my dog do something that he shouldn't have done and give me the most shameful eyes of all time? But, Winston, when you pee on my bed and I come home and see it, you're feeling something a little bit different. It's fear. The body language your dog has when it knows that it did something wrong isn't guilt, but it's fear of the impending punishment. It knows it messed up, and it knows that it's gonna face the consequences. Look at those big eyes. Are you telling me that those eyes never convey the feeling of guilt? Well, when he chews up my shoes and I come home to find him standing there, tail tucked, eyes wide, that body language isn't what he has when he's feeling guilty, because he can't feel guilty. It's the body language of a dog that is afraid of impending punishment. He knows he messed up, and he knows the result of that is getting in trouble. He's anticipating the punishment fearfully. But isn't that guilt? Isn't that what guilt is? Aren't I just describing the shameful feeling of doing something wrong and knowing it? No, they are actually feeling fear. Guilt is something more complex, that's why it comes later. But I totally understand if you're still gonna view it as guilt. Because he knows that he did something wrong, he knows that he's guilty of the crime, and he's awaiting punishment. But really, he's just afraid of the punishment. He doesn't feel the remorse and regret. Oh my gosh, why are you climbing so high, you freaking monster of cuteness? Oh, I love you so much, you're not a monster. So with that in mind, the next time your little puppy chews up your shoes and you have to discipline them, do it lovingly, knowing full well that they love you back. If you have a dog or you're a dog person, let me know in the comments below. And if you have a cat or want me to talk about cats in another video, tell me that too. My name is Cooper Nidecker. This is Winston. And believe it or not, that was not a stupid question. Thanks for sticking around. Here's my official dog tier list. Gigantic fluffy dogs, big fluffy dogs, medium fluffy dogs, small fluffy dogs, small short-haired dogs, gigantic short-haired dogs, medium short-haired dogs. This is the correct ranking system. You're welcome.